we are heading into Hammertown. Actually, we're going to get some gas first. Meet up with the guys from Project X, and then there's like a Bronco Nation run that we're going to join, and I think we're heading over to Loren and Vaughn's shop, which I think I left my water bottle there yesterday. Hopefully they still have the monster truck there. And I've actually been to every single King of the Hammers since 08. 07 was like, they kind of announced that they were doing it, but it was kind of an informal race. But I've been coming to Johnson Valley in this area, in these mountains, since 2002, I think I made my first trip out. And just instantly hooked and been coming ever since.
Yeah, nice to see you all. I'm Vaughn Jr. Loren Healy. Loren's a two-time king here, and last year's 4600 stock class champ.
Team effort.
This weekend, Loren and I will be sharing duties in the 4600 stock class truck. So I'll be going out to run the desert lap. Loren will be doing the rock lap. We've won it the last 2 years, so we're going for a three-peat this year. And then we swap and jump into 4400, which is the unlimited class, and become competitors racing against each other.
Which is what's running the qualifying course around here right now. So
yep.
Qualifying just started at 7 a.m. this morning. They'll be running, we run in the later in the afternoon, so we'll be running at 2 and 3 o'clock this afternoon in the big trucks around the qualifying course.
Yeah, so the plan today is just take you guys for a cruise through Johnson Valley. We'll leave out of Hammertown, go around back door, run through the desert a little bit. We'll come up to the notches, stop, a couple photo ops there. It's like really beautiful backdrops and such. And then we'll just take a cruise. And the goal is to stop by our shop and just kind of show you guys the operations. By then, the race trucks should be back from tech, we hope. If not, there'll be a shop to see kind of what and how we do things. And then we'll head back through the desert and get you guys back here. Should be back no later than 11:30 noon. That's the plan. Always got to ask.
Or just paint and install.
So we're out at Melville Dry Lake Bed on the backside. So over that mountain is Resolution and Backdoor. Just out with Bronco Nation, running this, hit the lake bed here. So we'll do a couple little high-speed passes, a little ripping around, and then probably take a trail back to the Hammers. Get hooked. All right, so we wrapped up our run with Loren and Vaughn and Bronco Nation. We're back at Hammertown. We're gonna go walk around a little bit and then head out and watch some qualifying. So qualifying's today, power hours from I think 2 to 4, and we'll see all the big name guys. A bunch of them that are running on our race portals. We'll see them out there and get some more content of that. So I'm here in the pit of Jason Scherer. Figured we'd do a quick little walk around, show some of his vehicles. This is a 4400 car, so this is like the pinnacle of our sport. It's an unlimited class. It runs a small block Ford. It's probably in the 750, 800 horse range. Independent front suspension, solid axle rear. The motor's actually a mid-engine, so the motor sits behind the seats. Drivetrain is forward. And then on the front end, so on all these vehicles, it's going to be a full four-wheel drive vehicle. Jason's been a friend of mine for years. This car debuted last year here at King of the Hammers. He's on our 4-gear race stuff, and this is kind of the pace setter of the field. So in the last 9 years, Jason has qualified on the front row every single year. He's a 3-time King of the Hammers winner, and definitely one of the main guys to watch out on race day. 4400 is just, it's the biggest class, it's the best class out here, it's the unlimited in probably arguably the hardest desert rock race in the world. So this is definitely one of the cars to keep an eye on. You'll see that like nowadays, most all of the real fast cars have moved to an independent front suspension. I mean, he'll run a Bronco body, Loren, Vaughn, there's 4 or 5 other cars that run. There's a big motor. There's 4 or 5 other cars out here that run a Bronco body on them, but this is a full tube chassis. It's meant to withstand an absolute beating in the rocks. Our race portal on this, so what we do on these is we actually work with the builders of the cars, and every single application that we do these on is custom to the specific geometry of the builder and what they're looking for in it. So they give us pivot points in space, and then we work around that and develop the knuckles and the whole portal system for the front end, and it's very one-off. So I mean, this is kind of the pinnacle of our sport. No expense spared on any components, and just the simple sheer size, like if you look at tie rods, steering, lower arms, compared to kind of a lifted or a modified vehicle, it's not even close. It really is amazing. Like these are fine-tuned, well-engineered machines that will just blow your mind. I mean, this thing it'll drive through the hardest rock trails out here. It'll also do 120 miles an hour across, desert stretches, hitting bumps, whoops. They're just phenomenal machines. So a lot of the cars out there will run a big, full, like carbon fiber dash and, crazy interiors. Jason's interesting. He's a minimalist on that stuff. He runs a Motec computer dash in the center with a PDU unit. The PDU controls all of your fans, fuel pumps, etc. But very bare bones, simple dash. And he likes it that way because he doesn't want anything complicated in front of him. He likes to focus just on racing and just keep it simple. And a lot of that too is if you do break something on these cars, you've got to be able to get to it and change it. So simple really is a good thing. And I've always said that the hardest thing to do is engineer something to be simple. So this car is, I don't want to say bare bones, but it's just uncomplicated. Beautiful cockpit. They got the passenger seat out. I don't know if they're changing something there or, oh, no, he pulled the passenger seat for qualifying. That's why the seat's out. So normally there'd be a GPS that'll sit for his co-driver, Jason Berger. That's out and the seat's out because Jason doesn't want any extra weight for qualifying. This vehicle I guess he's set the expectation that front row, front starting, this will be a top qualifier, barring some kind of issue, whether it's a flat tire or a mechanical issue. This will be a top qualifying vehicle for sure. So he runs a Ford power plant. It's a
race engine built by Ray Fields from Dugan's Racing Engines. It's a nasty 800-ish horsepower, mated to a turbo 400 transmission. He runs a custom one-off built SCS transfer case on this. So motor, transmission sits up, and then the transfer case is in front of that, kind of up near your feet. There are several cars out here that run this. So Jason, being a Fox-sponsored athlete, title sponsor of his car, he runs live valve. So live valve is essentially a computer-controlled circuit on the shock absorber itself. So it senses when shaft speed of the shock speeds up. It can close down orifices in a bypass tube to meter the amount of flow that you get through a shock. So when he drops off something or takes a big hit, normally that shock would fully compress. The live valve can shut down different stages of the bypass and force that shock to stiffen up super quick. Amazing technology that Fox rolls out, and they have it in a couple production vehicles. It's a little bit different than what they run on the race car stuff, but they develop it in the racing world and then move it to an OE application. But live valve is like the pinnacle of shocks. Like there's just nothing that even comes close to it. Both Loren and Vaughn are on live valve, and Jason runs this on his race car as well. Super cool stuff. Big fuel cell in the back. I don't know the actual spec on it. I'm gonna guess it's probably in the 50 to 60 gallon range. He runs dry sumps, so there's no actual fuel filler to unscrew. You slam a thing in. One's for vent, one's for fill. He'll run dual intake pumps that run through an external filter system into that engine, and fully wrapped headers. I think he did titanium headers on this to try to mitigate the heat. TubeWorks rear end, TubeWorks third, Spider Tracks rear axle. What am I forgetting on it? Well, Jason's always been a BFG guy. He's raced on BFG for most of his career, and last 2 years been on this. This is probably proven to be one of the most durable. This and the Nitto are definitely the most durable tires in off-road. And so, I mean, you see the guys out here getting a lot of flats. You'll see flats on BFGs and Nittos, but not nearly at the rate as some of the other tires out there. 40-inch, this is a sticky compound. So in desert, they'll run a tire that looks the same, but it's a much harder compound. Out on the rocks, they'll run a soft compound so that it has grip. But these tires will not last the whole race. Or if they do, they come in and the tires are completely shot, treads all torn off. They typically won't change a tire in the pit unless there's an issue with it or a cut on the sidewall. But you're hoping that the tires will last, a couple hundred miles through the desert, and then throw them away and put on new ones. Jason went to a Method Wheel and Baja Designs for lighting. It's part of a rebranding partnership stuff. Like all the racers that are really out here to compete, they're all going to be on a forged beadlock. So this is I think it's the 201. Don't quote me on that. It's a 200 series Method Wheel. It's a forged beadlock. This beadlock is actually, so not all forged beadlocks are created equal. A lot of them are done on a 600-ton press. The Methods, I believe they told me, were done on a 1,200-ton. So what that does is the more pressure that they do in the forging process, it gets a tighter grain structure, makes a stronger wheel. You'll see these wheels, if they blow a tire, you'll see the wheels bend. You typically do not see a forged wheel break. And so you'll always see racers on forged wheels because they just take more of a beating. They'll bend, but they don't typically shatter apart like a cast wheel will sometimes. All of these cars will have a full fire suppression system as well. So in the event that they do have some type of fire, they've got a valve typically in the car where they'll pull it and it'll dump a chemical flame retardant throughout the engine, transmission, and then in the cockpit also, to, you know, just for a safety precaution to extinguish any fire that they have. Definitely critical. The Safecraft stuff is super good. Expensive, but everything in racing is expensive. So out at Chocolate Thunder, just watched the UTV roll on the hill, and we're supposed to have a monster truck here in a few minutes, so how could you not come out to see a monster truck? Piloted by Shane England, and I'm trying to call him, but I don't think his cell phone has reception, and we're sitting here waiting for the monster truck to come up, but it's not moving. There's a bunch of yahoos in Chocolate Thunder, and they're not moving, so we're trying to make something happen.